Well, there was very limited attendance at yesterday's inauguration, but one person who was there and who joins us now live, former Arizona Senator Jeff Flake. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So I thought Joe Biden's line, we will be judged by how we resolve these cascading crises of our era. Will we master this rare and difficult hour? I thought that was one that really stuck. Was there something that he said yesterday or any other moment that you thought was especially memorable?
Well, two certainly themes, the theme of unity, particularly the contrast with the inauguration 4 years ago, which was known as the American Carnage speech. So a very different tone. And with Joe Biden, having served in the Senate for 36 years, 8 years as vice president, does know how to work with the other side. And he knows that that's what our country needs right now. And then the other part of the speech, talking about truth and the importance of truth. We've just gone through a massive falsehood that the election was rigged somehow. And we saw how that turned out and what that meant to the country. And so those two themes were important. I thought it was a great speech.
You spent years in the House and more in the Senate, and you know many on both sides of the Capitol. So what do you think the odds are that we will enter a new era of bipartisanship as Joe Biden hopes?
Well, I sure hope we do. We have no choice. When you have a Senate that's 50-50 in a very closely divided House, you really have no choice. One thing that's nice in my view is that really there's no illusion that one party is going to be able to push its agenda. Democrats, because of the Senate filibuster, there are a limited number of things that they can do just by sticking together as one party. They're going to have to involve Republicans, and that's a good thing. First out of the gate is vaccine distribution and dealing with the coronavirus. That has been mishandled badly. And so I hope that the new administration can move ahead quickly with Republican support on that issue.
And, when one party loses power, and especially the presidency, there are always questions about who will lead the party going forward. Who do you see as the people who will represent the future of the GOP?
Well, I think it's too early to tell who that one leader will be who runs for president or as our nominee next time. But I can tell you, I know we need to move away from the kind of politics that we've practiced in the past. I think the country is tired of that. They've grown weary of Trumpism. That was plain, 2 years ago when we lost the House of Representatives. We just lost control of the Senate and the White House. We've lost, I think, in the midterms, more than 400 legislative seats nationwide. So we have to be a different party and not just criticize the other side or talk about some deep state conspiracy. We've got to actually offer solutions. And I think that we can, and there are leaders who will step forward.
Just real quickly, do you see politics back in your future, or are you happy in the classroom? I know you've been teaching, I think, everywhere from Harvard to BYU.
I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Also doing some teaching at ASU, so that's been fun as well. But I will try to use whatever platform I have to bring the party back. We need two strong, rational parties in this country. It's good for the country. And we need these debates back that we've had in the past on a number of issues. So I'll try to be involved, but we'll see where it goes.
All right. Former Senator Jeff Flake, we appreciate your time today. Thanks.
Thank you, Ron.